During the pentagram rite, I saw a yellow box outside in the north through the left gap. With the first set of vibrations, I saw a light from the southwest shine forth and fill up the glass, and not really anywhere else, despite the light actually coming from a different direction. With the second set of vibrations, I felt a movement upwards through me, through everything. And then with the third, there was a movement downwards through everything. With the fourth, a pulsing started to build. There was a moment where yellow light filled the room more uniformly, and with the fifth set of vibrations, it was like there was a pulsing towards the center of this area being used ritually. And it wasn't back and forth, it was like cyclical, funneled. With the final scrying, I saw the light seem to dull as far as its reach, as in it didn't seem to shine anywhere else, not even on the wood. I feel comfortably numb. Dream. Encounters are a bit like a dream at times. When you travel, sometimes, in a way, others join you along your journey, even though you are the only one who's actually journeying. Now you must leave addresses another sense of how things must change. Rather than a subtle hint, it becomes more obvious. The environment speaks to you, and it comes off as a sort of music sometimes. I mean, the Doors and the Queen of Stone Age, weren't they the only groups that really captured that riding out on the desert concept in, the way they sounded? Moment of freedom can be as temporary as the time a prisoner spends out of their cell undisturbed. The dark American sunset. Well, some contrive conspiracies. Some figure them out. Some are misguided in how they're trying to prepare for their children, or they're not preparing them for the right thing. How can we find a place to develop? Kilroy talks about repression. Repression in the incarceration system, for one. But otherwise, it's the traits of those outside the walls, too. Various points of society, various terrains, all looking back to some sort of return. On photography, any of us who don't just snap selfies, or perhaps even those people who do, one of the things is that a person tries to figure out the best lighting and stuff in order to tell something by the photograph. Discovered by Vermeer. Myth is supposed to be reality. And symbolism becomes an objective reality. And it can be true to subject as it is true to object at the same time. Metaphor as taboo indicates some sort of inner and outer power to things, the insider and the outsider. Mask happening gets, as far as this channel is concerned, into such things as the seasonals and catharsis of some sort or another. Goth's theory of vision is about the certainty of sight and how beyond that, divinity doesn't have gender. When we think of things as future or past, we are, in a sense, shaping our perception. One of the things in Texas radio and the Big Beat is that cultures become of the sort of, what they branched off of, even when they were trying to separate themselves from that. Then we have something about the downgrading of a relationship, and we think of how other primates react. I mean, that's not really part of the poem, but, it's what makes me think of, you see monkeys and stuff gather flowers that don't seem to be related to any sort of medicine or whatever, or they gather something for their mate. And when that appreciation drops for the male being the provider, then, it's time for that to go. My Wild Love, I guess, is the name of a poem. Addresses the ups and downs of relationships, doesn't it? Drama. We have bits that seem like they were part of a song, and they ended up part of different songs, just like what was being talked about in the Kurt Cobain journal. Sometimes he had one song and it branched into 2 or 3 songs. We are beyond these trials. We are beyond the other roles and events. The ethnicities combine. Like a child, we can have our reality dominated by what we focus on, by our opinions. There is a temptation to accept a message just because it's old. What we need to accept is something that we can work with. The true game of modern society continues to be psychic. The Ecuador ritual, there is the mercenary. There are those who assemble to create sacred space. There are limits and disruptions and what to do outside of the ritual. Then's the time to combine and be beyond what is put upon things. And then there'll truly be something to remember. I think we have bits of the soft parade. And so the soft parade, the work goes on. Oh, and it closes off with a reference to direct involvement. The American Night is the regard for the other while being the seducer. There are truths to society, militant and other such truths that, well, are difficult to deal with. But you can know what they are. But it's not just coming from without. We do stuff to ourselves, too. In a way, we can return. In a way, we can't. There is challenge and indulgence. One gender or one side of society, in a way, needs the permission of the other. Are we sharing messages or are we trolling? He follows a woman isn't an episode of stalking. It's, well, perhaps what they refer to in India as someone controlled by women. But beyond friendship, or maybe friendship at the end, is, things are for a purpose. Things are for productive things. And there are things unsaid in expressions. The dialogue between man and woman kind of, it's without a title, but it's sort of his men are from Mars and women are from Venus, or I think there was a book in the 80s or something. The long dream is entertainment. And, well, would it be different if it wasn't packaged as entertainment? The Love Police, there's fascism, but it doesn't completely control. The blues, not just in mocking words, but in other ways. Some people make things as a jest, ignoring or dismissing the feelings of others. Book of Memory, well, there is a buildup of confidence, and it gives you access to what you remember more fondly when it wasn't as indulged in. You find yourself, and you don't always want to do things in the way that they're available, your diet and everything else. Explosion, well, he's referring to nuclear explosions and, well, how you are as an individual. That what matters, even if society seems to go crazy. Sometimes media is to indirectly work something out. There becomes an end to humanity that we perhaps work through or work to, even when alive and connected to the open synagogue. I don't know, did he not know how to spell synagogue? Or was he making a pun? There's plenty of things left to figure out. And some things can't totally be expressed or understood through the expression of others. We all have things to chase out. We all have work to work ourselves into. There are plenty of points of no return. And life is full of interrupting our so-called good ideas. But one thing that people actually learn if they practice it is that when it comes time for a prayer or something else, and you go do that and return, and you don't have to lose your, oh my, I'll never have the story, or I'll never have the, no, you can get back to things. And it trains your mind to be better at it than just, you just meander through life. Because you're going to get interrupted anyways. Might as well have it for eternity. L'America. Good and bad for the youth.